welcome to Jonah Group Bible Study, Part 5 of 6. If you have any questions along the way, since this is a group Bible study, just put them in the chat box or put them in the private Q&A box, and we'll take care of it. So let's begin right away, and let's start off with the first question, which is looking at Jonah 3:10 and 4:1. How much time could have elapsed? So let's go back to the Bible. And let's open up the New American Standard. So I'm just going to type in Jonah 3:10 in the command box at the top. And when you type the verse in the command box at the top, you get an option called Lookup, go to Jonah 3:10. And whatever your default Bible is, that's the translation that will open. Now, if we look at Jonah 3:10, it says, when God saw their deeds, then they turned from their wicked way. Then God relented concerning the calamity which he had declared he would bring upon them, and he did not do it. Then, in verse 1, but it greatly displeased Jonah, and he became angry. So the question before us is, how much time has passed? And this is really important because when we get down to verse 5, and we'll deal with this a little bit more detail when we get there, we read that then Jonah went out from the city and sat east of it. There he made a shelter for himself and sat under it in the shade until he could see what would happen in the city. So it begs the question, how much time has passed? And so we know from earlier passages, for example, if we go up earlier to Jonah 3 from our last session, we know that Jonah went through the city and he proclaimed in verse 4, yet 40 days and Nineveh will be overthrown. So the question is, how much time do you think could have passed between Jonah chapter 3 and Jonah chapter 4? And that is the question. So if anyone wants to take a stab at it, I promise I won't embarrass anybody. Go ahead and just put in your answers. Do you think it was 3 days? Do you think it was 40 days? Do you think it was more than 40 days? So let me bring back the PowerPoint here. So the answer is it could not be more than 40 because of Jonah 3:4, and it had to be at least 3 days because it was a 3 days walk through Nineveh. So from the text, that's about all we can figure out. So again, let me look at Jonah 3:4 here, because we know it was 40 days and Nineveh be overthrown. So the only way that Jonah could become angry and displeased. Now, he could be angry and displeased because he's starting to see the people repent, and he's starting to see the decrees. And so in that sense, it could be a shorter duration. But most likely, it's been the 40 days, and he's waited, and Nineveh is still there, which means God's not going to destroy. So if we had to figure out the timeline or time frame between chapter 3 and chapter 4, it would have to be at least 3 days, at least 3, because it takes 3 days to get through the city, and we know he was obedient and faithful to that. And it probably is a little bit more than 40, at least 40, because if we're taking this as he now knows that Nineveh will not be destroyed. So this is a tough passage to determine that, but when you step back in the big timeline, hey, it's just a few weeks, not a big deal. But I at least want to address that because that's going to be important when we get to verse 5. Let's go to the next question, and we're going to take this a little bit further. What words does greatly modify in the Jonah book? So let's show you how to do this and get this question answered. So what we're going to do is we're going to right-click on the word greatly. And we have a couple options at the right. We could search on the manuscript, which is the exact spelling that we have here in Jonah 4:1. We could search on the lemma and find all the places with the variety of spellings, and that's what lemma is going to do for us. But for this example, let's just choose the manuscript. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to choose Search This Resource. Now, when we choose Search This Resource, it's going to search all the passages. We don't want to do that. We want to narrow our search to just simply Jonah. So what I've done is I've created a passage range, Jonah. And the way I did that is I clicked on the All Passages link, and I typed in Jonah in both boxes. And that gave me the Jonah search range. As soon as you change the search range, Logos reruns the search. We could look at this and go, great city, great wind. Even though the word is extremely frightened, it is still that same underlined Hebrew word. And remember, we searched on the manuscript. This is the exact same spelling, same morphology, all that. We see great city, we see greatly, great city, greatly displeased, which is our verse 4:1, extremely happy, which is the opposite of being displeased, and great city. Now that's an easy way to do this, but let's take this a little bit further and show you a tool and how this can be very powerful. So let's go to the analysis option. Now when you go to analysis, Logos is going to take a little bit longer to do the research. And I've already kind of run this one before, so I'm going to modify it, and you can see all my search results here. Now, when the search results come back in the analysis mode, you're going to see all these columns. And if you right-click on any one of the columns, you're going to see a menu appear. And whatever is checked, that column will appear on your screen. And whatever is unchecked will not appear. Now make sure when you right-click on the column that you have next word checked. So we check that, and then I'm going to scroll over and find next word. And as we go through, there it is right here. Now why did I do this? Well, check this out. If we look at the results here in one column, the very next word is in the next column. So it allows us to kind of ignore all that noise around these two words, and we can focus just on that. Now, this isn't totally precise. We could go into the syntax and see the exact word it's modifying, and we'll do that in a minute. But this is a quick and easy way just to see the next word that follows. This works especially well if your word is an adjective, which in this case it is. And by the way, how did I know it's an adjective? Well, if I float my mouse over the word greatly, and I look down at the very bottom of my Bible, you'll see I have the morphological information. And the first word that's listed there is adjective. So that means, typically in English, once you have an adjective, the word that follows tends to be the one that it's modifying. So that's why this is such a quick and easy way to just get a quick list of what words it modifies. Now, if we wanted to be totally precise, we could use a resource that actually shows us what words are modified. So I'm going to click on the Bible book, and I'm going to type in Anderson Forbes, S-E-N space F-O-R-B-E-S. And we're going to look for a book called The Hebrew Bible, Anderson Forbes Phrase Marker Analysis. Now, this book is unique, and you may not have it depending on your collection, but most people should have it. Now, I'm going to go to the inline interlinear and make sure that only a few items are checked to make this more user-friendly. And so we have superclausal structures, clause immediate constituent. Now I'm going to expand these just so we can see how much detail we have here. By the way, really important, if you're going to use the syntax in the Hebrew, it's always a good idea to link these books together. So I'm going to click on the resource panel and click Link Set A. I'm going to do that again with my syntax, click on the Bible, Link Set A. Now, I know we're going through a lot of work here, but let's just see what we can discover. So we have English, and we see these translations, and it greatly displeased Jonah. Now, the word here is gadol. This is in Hebrew word order, where our Bible, of course, is in English word order. And what we discover is that this word big is associated with the word evil. And we're going to look into that word just a minute, why it says evil rather than displeased. But now you can see how these words are grouped together and how they belong together. And if we were to go and look at the other search results, which we're going to do now, let's take a look real quick here at Jonah 1:4. So I'm going to go to Jonah 1:4. We see big and evil. We'll go to Jonah 1:10. There's big and fear. Let's go to Jonah 1:16. We'll look for the word big again, and that's a little bit farther down in the passage. And here we go, big fish. So if you're ever wondering how this word is linked or what word it's linked to, opening the syntax will help you see those groups of words. And so that'll be very, very helpful. So that's just a simple way to take a closer look at this word greatly. Now, why is this such a big, important word? Well, it gives us emphasis, and that emphasis takes things to the next level. It adds a level of intensity. And that's why in Jonah 4:1, it's so important, because we see that it greatly displeased Jonah. So this is helping us understand the significance of his displeasure and his anger. Now let's take a closer look at this word displeased. So I'm going to go ahead and right-click on the word displeased. I'm going to choose lemma, and I'm going to choose Bible Word Study. So we'll click on that, and you will see that this word is translated a couple different ways. We can see worse, hostile, afflicted, wicked, harming, evil, evildoers, and a whole bunch of others. Now, if we go ahead and even look at the definition at a lexicon, let's just take the first one here, DBL Hebrew. We're going to see it means to be bad, to be evil, do wrong, do harm, to be in a state or an action which is not morally good, and do wickedness, be distressed, suffer harm. There's all those additional flavors. So what we're getting at is we're finding out that this is an evil upsettedness. Jonah is just extremely not happy, the exact opposite of happiness. Now, what's really fascinating is that we get more information on Jonah's feelings, and it says, and he became angry. Now, let's right-click on the word angry and choose lemma and choose Bible Word Study. And what we discover, if we look at the glossary, is to become hot, to be angry, to get excited, to kindle. So when you take greatly displeased and he became hot with anger, enraged, we realize he is extremely upset. And this really reveals the heart of Jonah.